All right, we'll see how this works, this angle. I'm trying to use a clip on here on the trunk, or on the lid. So, first mod for the 2022 Mustang, obviously an air filter. I don't know how much more they flow. They flow a little better than stock. I know there's AEM, there's other brands. I went with the K&N just because I've always had good luck with them. And also, from what I read, Ford will warranty that because that's the one they actually sell when they put in there. So, could be wrong. Let's see what it does. So I've actually done another mod I'll cover here in a little bit. As far as changing this thing, it's real easy. I don't think you're going to have to remove too much here. You need a flathead screwdriver, or I think that's probably an 8mm by the looks of it. This has two clips, snap on, and basically just push it forward and off. If you want to go ahead and disconnect that, that'll make it a little easier to just get this out of the way. And I have to say, this is probably one of the easier lids to get off, although I say that as I'm struggling here, but that's just because, well, you know what, I guess that's enough. Let's just go ahead and do that. Now, there's the old filter. You might have noticed there's little black pieces of plastic falling out. Well, there's a reason for that. We've already done one mod. Let's get this filter in and then I'll explain what I did. So, the filter for this car is model 33-5029. Get it, take it out of the box. What I also like to do, and I forgot to grab some, is grab a couple paper towels and just go ahead and just wipe it down because it's got some oil, excess oil, on the plastic. So hold on one second while I grab that. And you just want to wipe that off. The reason is, and this is the problem people have with aftermarket air filters, is they tend to over oil them. And so what that can do is it'll make the filter clog up faster. It'll also, you got your MAF sensor. You don't want to get that covered in oil, or it can cause it to give an incorrect reading, in which case you could get an error, or at the very least it might cause your ECU to use the wrong setting. You know, it's adjusting fuel and ignition based on lots of different parameters, and that's one of the sensors that helps tell it, hey, this is the altitude, the air pressure, air temperature, all that kind of stuff. All right, so that one came out like, let's see, well, it should be pretty easy to put back because it's got this goofy shape. So it was in like that, paper filter. We're going to put that in like so. Make sure it's centered, seated. And then basically, we're just going to push this back in. Slip that on, make sure it's on all the way around and sealed and up snug. And push that in. Snap those in place. And then we're going to go ahead and retighten that. That's it for an install. I have no illusions that I'm going to pick up massive horsepower by changing an air filter, because you're just not. On a dyno, you might pick up 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that enough for me to even notice by seat of the pants? Nope, not at all. So, all right, everything's up tight. That's on tight. Make sure it's seated all the way around. Feels like it is, but I'm just going to unclick it, double check, make sure it's clicked in, and it is. So what I like about it is it probably frees up the flow a little bit. Sometimes it can change the intake noise a little bit. Do these things really matter? No. It's more just when I like to keep things running clean, and so I like to change things, you know, probably more often, like oil and stuff like that. Here, anytime, you know, it's a rainy day, I'm not gonna be driving, I can go ahead and pull that out, get the filter recharger kit where you spray it with the spray, rinse it out in the sink, let it dry, put it in front of a fan, let it sit there for half an hour and get nice and dry, and then re-oil it and throw it back in, rather than going and buying these for 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever they cost, and then throwing them out every time. I like to be able to just go ahead and do that. Now, the other mod, let me throw this stuff aside. And I was reading about, so on the stock airbox, this is, and a lot of sports cars are this way, and actually a lot of cars are this way. You know, you think, oh, I'm going to do the cold air intake. Okay, this already is a cold air intake. So the bottom of this air box, even though it's fairly shallow and kind of a small air box, you see all this piece here? This is all the intake. It actually goes up to the front and it breathes through the front grill. I don't know how much of a ram air effect there is, but this actually has a cold air intake. There's no holes that I saw in the boxes anywhere around here. The intake into that box comes through this big plastic housing, which goes right to the front. Well, what's up in the front? This grill. Now, I need to do some more work here to just kind of clean that all up and everything. However, there is, I wonder if you can even replace that piece, but this was only breathing through like 4.5 holes. It was like these holes right here, and the rest of these were solid like that. Okay, so you didn't breathe through them. So what I've done is just kind of drilled out, and I'm going to go get a nice file. I'm still cleaning some of the little plastic bits and stuff out of there, and that's what was in the old filter. I did it on the old filter so I wouldn't have the new filter having to catch all that stuff. So basically, I've just gone and kind of filed and opened these up. So it basically increased the opening by 50%. Will that let more air in and less restriction? I don't know, but I figure it can't hurt, right? So it is a cold air intake. I don't know how much paying $400 or $500 for, I mean, you might have a higher volume air box and you might have a bigger filter that lets it flow more air. But if I'm not doing the exhaust and a bunch of other stuff, and especially if I'm not doing tuning it to take advantage of that, I don't know how much it's going to make a difference. So what I did was, and again, don't look at that and go, oh, it looks like crap. You're looking at it close up in high resolution, and I'm pointing it out to you. If you were walking by the car, you wouldn't even see that. So I'm going to go in there and clean it, smooth it. Any of the plastic that got roughed up from the filing, I will go ahead and actually probably tape this all off and get some, you know, glossy black paint and just respray it. So it'll look like it came that way. But instead of breathing through 3 or 4 holes, now it's breathing through 10. Will it make a difference? But we'll see. That's the first mod I've got so far. The next mod is not going to be anything around performance. It's going to be getting rid of this stupid bar. And it's going to be getting the, I don't even know what you call them, but it has a brace. It uses all the factory screws, and there'll be a plate here, and then you mount the other part here, and it's got the spring-loaded piston. So you just raise it up and it holds it there, and then you push it down, you know, like a lot of cars have. I don't like this 1950s thing here. I'd rather just click it open and lift it and have it stay there. So those are coming in. They're only like 65 bucks. I got to order those today. And we'll do a quick install of those, but it uses all the factory mounts and everything, so which is pretty cool. But there's your first mod, K&N Air filter, and opening up the front cold air intake a little bit to let some more air in. I'll go for a ride later. I'm not expecting any kind of seat of the pants difference, but I figure every little bit helps. Can't hurt.